10-point win. What was the line? The line was only like 4.5, right?
I don't know. I'm feeling funky. I don't care.
I am feeling funky. Feeling very funky. In fact, you know what we got? We got little winner shots here.
Ba, 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 ba.
We got to get those out the way early.
We're going to get them right out the way, baby. Winner shots here. Play that funky music.
You know, all right.
You know, those are usually like 90% Kool-Aid. That one really surprised me. That one's, I'm not going to lie. Was that right? Yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Winners Lounge. Oh, how sweet it is to be here at the Winners Lounge. Nuggets needed it, man. For the second time this week, the best win of the season. I know it was a low bar, but this one, I think, definitively the best win of the season.
Yeah, I guess it's either that or the Knicks game. And
yeah, so it's definitely this one.
Look at this. Best win of the season.
No, this was actually, I mean, look, we're going to talk a little bit about the Warriors and this or that, but I think this was an actual good win. So welcome in, everybody. Hopefully, if this is your first show, welcome. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. You want to check out all the cool stuff we have going on with DNVR. I'm Adam Matas. I'm joined by D-Line Co.
That's right. Just push any buttons in front of you. Just push
all the buttons. And then I'm joined over here by Superstar Dev.
I am on the Winners Lounge.
Oh,
I'm on the Winners Lounge.
Hey.
And the Nuggets are not losers anymore.
The Nuggets are not losers
right now.
Can't wait. So Harrison Wind gonna be out. He's on vacation. Not gonna lie to you guys. He's having a great time. Who knows if he even watched the game tonight?
Well, you don't know if he's having a
Brendan
great time.
Vogt covering the game for us, and will be joining us a little bit later, doing the post-game stuff with us. But the Nuggets do get the win. Jokic gets the triple-double. JaMychal Green gets a near double-double, 15 points, 9 rebounds. Steph Curry goes off. Seems like he just, that guy, man, like, it's so funny when we compare people to Steph, because it really is like, that's just, what's the point? There's guys that can make three-pointers. That's the comparison. But only Steph is like,
can make three-pointers like Steph makes.
Anytime he has the ball in his hands, you're just like, oh, God. But, and you saw why. But, but the Nuggets got the win, and there was a lot of positives I thought that came from this game. Dev, what was your biggest takeaway?
My biggest takeaway of the game was maybe the bench unit. The bench unit again, just at least like keeping ground for that nature. Also,
I don't know what I'm doing to you over here. These mics are so weird.
I have to say, like, we miss Brendan, theoretically.
Me
being able to move over to the seat and not have to be in literal battle with Adam Matas.
It's so crazy.
Mic stand battle, like his goes up,
we
mine
somehow
goes
have
down.
the worst
mine goes
mic
down,
stands ever, and I don't get it because they were like pretty pricey mic stands. All right, sorry. What was your takeaway?
Well, it was the bench unit, but maybe I have to change it to Nikola Jokic. He gets his 5th triple-double of the year, and also this is the time. This was on it was a nationally televised game.
It's true.
Maybe he gets the respect that he deserves.
Nope.
I just put that tweet out. He has
right
he has to get the respect he deserves. He does it on a national scale for everybody to see.
Yeah.
And you got to see the best parts of Jokic today, even though it still was not a Jokic game.
Yep.
He only shot 50%, which is for him below average. So there were aspects of this game that were like not great from Jokic, but it's just like his baseline's so high that 23 points, 14 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 steals. By the way, you guys know this. There's only 4 players in the NBA that, and this might have changed. I looked at this yesterday. It might have changed. There's only 4 players beating him: Larry Nance Jr., who was a bit of a surprise, Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler, Drew Holiday, Jokic.
I've actually noticed like Jokic is like really focusing on getting his hands out in front of him, and like, I mean, we all know he's not an above the rim defender, but he's like really focusing on just like getting those suction cups out there and in passing lanes and like disrupting people when they're dribbling. It seems like it's like a focus for him.
I'm sorry, we can't go away from what the facts you just brought up. The guys that are on that list are all some of the best defenders in the entire NBA.
Maybe the best defenders. Like Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, Drew Holiday. Okay, that might be 1, 2, 3, like on ball.
Like, that's insane. And then you throw Jokic in there with Larry Nance Jr., who knows how many games Larry Nance
I know, it's kind
played.
of a drag, Larry Nance. No, it was a lot. Because I did only guys that have played like at least 3 games or something. But here's what I think it is, Eric. It's lost the weight. He's always had the quickest brain and the slowest body. Now he has the quickest brain and still the slowest body, but not nearly as slow. Like, I do think there's something to his ability just to move his body. I know it sounds like moving your arms in it, but just a little bit more lateral quickness. Like, you think about a snake, like steals are so much about that like strike. His ability just to strike a little bit faster because he was always good at this.
Right.
And I'm being told from the producer Kale here, super producer Kale, 23 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, 14 rebounds, 3 steals, the king of the game. The crown not big enough for Jokic. Should be the most massive crown. Although we don't want to hurt his back.
No, I
doing a lot of carrying, so
and also like
an appropriate size.
That's not like that's not how being a king works. By the way, like,
it's not.
The more powerful of a king you are, I don't get a larger crown. Like, just having the crown in general is really all it takes.
No, but honestly, I don't know if that sounds like a crackpot theory there to you, that he's a little lighter, so he's a little quicker.
No, I mean it makes sense just because we already know he's like a cerebral player.
Yeah.
He could he already anticipates everything and knows what's going to happen. He just never had the athleticism or
to get
speed
to be in the right
get
position.
Like, I know where to be. I just I'm never in the right.
Yeah,
like
normally,
he's always been at the right spot, but he never was able to make it happen.
He would turn into a lot of reach fouls previously because he would be not in front of the guy. He'd be like coming in from the side trying to make the same play. Like
a baby kitten with that little paw.
Yeah, like a little
baby kitten. But now he's like a viper, like it's just that sudden strike.
Do you want to know my takeaway from the game? Or do you know?
I guess, yeah. What's your big takeaway, Eric?
My big takeaway for the game is that how routine that felt when it was the first like real win of the season.
I know.
But it felt like,
it is true.
It's just like we're just right back on the horse. Like the Nuggets just looked good, and it was like, there they are. That's the Nuggets. But meanwhile, like we haven't seen that all year.
Right.
But it just felt like an old comfortable pair of shoes. Just slide them on.
And that's nice though, because to your point, Denver's season is hard to read because their losses have been very close. Like they've had some very close losses to Dallas. Sacramento's not a good team, but it was a close loss. It could have very easily flipped, but we just haven't felt good about them. And tonight, would it have been nice if Denver just dominated a little bit more? Sure. But tonight did feel like they were in control for most of it.
They did. They dominated.
They were up 37-24 in that first quarter. And that's important to me. That was they got off to that really good start, and it was like, okay, this team, like, at their best, still can get into those grooves. I think another takeaway from this, Jokic was obviously great. They asked this question on the TNT broadcast at halftime. I was hearing it. We're here at the DNVR Bar, the most poppin' place.
Oh, the poppin'est
that can have a socially distant,
the
very
most
limited
25% poppin'
25%, but less than that. It was like 20% poppin' tonight. But I was down there listening at the halftime, and they were talking about, does Jokic, of course, a classic TNT take, does Jokic do too much for this team? Are they playing through him a little bit too much? And, tonight, this was one of those games where I felt like you'd like to see Murray make a few more shots, but I thought he had a good overall night, even though he just didn't shoot the ball well. But you look at the starting lineup, 12 points for Millsap, 17 for Barton, 17 for Murray. Bol starts only as a token start. We'll talk about that later, only 4 points. But then you get 15 points from JaMychal Green, 11 from Monte Morris, 10 from PJ Dozier. This is a Nuggets win. Jokic leads the way. Everybody fills in around him so beautifully.
I'm saying, this is why after the last game when, by all rights, as a, reasonably reasonable person, I should have been really upset after the last game, but I wasn't at all because I just saw the Nuggets start to look like the bench unit look like a bench unit you could count on to a reasonable degree. And you saw the Nuggets come out and play a lot of how they did this entire game this time also, where they were causing steals, getting in passing lanes, being active. And tonight we even saw a small resurrection of one Jamal Murray. He looked engaged. He looked as though he had
did look very engaged.
A little energy. It looked like he didn't look like he was burdened by having to be on the floor. I just hope we've been, in this, it's funny to say as Nuggets fans, in the last year we've been spoiled, which is hilarious because we've been up until this it's just been rotten, so it seems funny that we can be spoiled. But the Nuggets have gotten off to really good starts. They haven't even always looked their best, but they've just have been stacking up wins as the season began. But that's just not how the NBA works. Sometimes you just come out of the gate slow. It happens to every team. And so if anybody who's been pushing the panic button, look, the Nuggets are starting
I would
to
have,
look like
I wouldn't have hit the panic button, but had they lost tonight's game, I would have. This was one I thought they needed to win. They were a better team. They were at home. They had the guys that I thought gave them a good chance to win tonight. Even though they're missing Gary Harrison, Michael Porter, I thought the guys that were playing tonight were you know what, this team should do it. So you're right that I think it was so early and they're at 500, but at the same time, this was an important game to me. The other guy I want to go to is JaMychal Green. He's number 2 for me. So Jokic, again, fantastic tonight. Apparently on the TNT broadcast, they thought he was Russian or shackled. And I know. Here's the thing. Here comes old man angry Adam, right? Here comes grouchy Adam.
Hold on. Let me brace myself for this.
My least favorite type of comedy is ignorant American comedy. Like, you know what I mean? That's the, like, you know what's funny? Is he Russian? Is he French? Like, I don't know my country. He's like, what is this? Like, so, and I'm sure the Serbians are watching and just like, mother
But
effer.
see, what you're describing is something that's done intentionally, and like that, what you're describing, what Shaq did, is not ignorant American comedy.
You think?
It's just
Come on, man.
It's just being like he just doesn't know the difference.
You think he just don't know?
There's no way he knows. You don't say that out loud without
There's no way he knows.
That's actually like a dumb thing to say out loud.
Well,
you don't say those type of things.
Well, then I don't like it even when it's unintentional. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of
it's
it.
much more loathable when it's unintentional.
You go to JaMychal Green, though, because he's been one of the stories. I mean, what's his record with Denver this year? I mean, I feel like Nuggets are 6-6, but with him, they're like 6-2, 6-3. He's been so fantastic. He goes 5 of 10 tonight, including 3 of 4 from 3. He gets 9 rebounds, including 3 offensive rebounds and 15 points. He was a plus 12, which I believe is the team best. Yep, a team best plus 12. And I've talked about this so much. It's congrats on the win. There it is. But here's the thing. I've talked about this so much. He fits with the bench. He fits with the starters, man. And even more so with the starter. He's starting to be the closing guy. He's fitting in. He's the perfect role player. I got to think. We talk about Mr. Nugget. He can't win it this year. I don't know if you can win it as a first-year guy. Like, you kind of have to become a little more ingrained in the culture. You can't win it as a first year. But next year, I predict he is going to be in that running for Mr. Nugget.
Mr. Nuggets.
He might be in the running.
JaMychal is he's great. Like, he's actually good. There's nothing negative you can say about him. And earlier in the season, when there were so many questions about the bench unit and how did they answer it and how bad it looks, the whole time, maybe Malone is like, well, we still have JaMychal to come in.
Right.
And we still have a player that's really kind of a starter in a way that's going to be here, and he's going to be our veteran presence, especially when you look at the second unit. They always had Monte. They always had these young players that could really change the game, but they didn't have a veteran presence that could calm them and soothe things, and that's what they do. JaMychal Green, he's doing everything that the Nuggets need from him, and he really is the ultimate role player.
Yeah, and like when you're talking about waiting for players to come back, I mean, don't forget there's a very big player coming back for the Denver Nuggets.
Is that
Greg Whittington?
Well, that was a really, really nice curveball. No, but seriously, JaMychal Green, man, I mean, he's just such a fantastic fit. And the thing about him, his pedigree comes from the Spurs, then goes to the Grizzlies, and he's really a grit and grind culture. But you know what? You see it, like, he is a hard hat and lunch pail kind of guy because as much as his 3-pointers are what stick out to you, and going 3 of 4 is like huge. Those were huge. That you could, not to boil it down because it wasn't any one thing that did it, but you could boil it down and say if he goes 0 for 4, Nuggets maybe don't win tonight. He goes 3 of 4, they win comfortably. But that's not even what stands out to me. That's the bonus. What stands up to me is he just does all the right stuff. He's smart. He's in the right spots. He fights for there was a couple of rebounds tonight where it was like 50-50. He's got it. I like the guy so much, and it's interesting that he gets 28 minutes tonight. Paul Millsap 23, because I feel like that's what I expect this season. I honestly expect that whoever starts, however it goes, JaMychal Green's going to play starters minutes. Paul Millsap might just start.
So we've been saying, like, Paul Millsap has become a starter by name only, like a technical starter. But I mean, I see JaMychal being the closer, right? I mean, like, he's just going to get to that point where you just can rely on him. I mean, it comes down to just youth. I mean, he's just younger. He's just a younger guy.
This is a good point by Clay here. He's saying he already looks like he knows how to play with Jokic.
No, he does. I did this on the list the other day. I put a video up on the list because Dev knows. I don't bring this up too much anymore, but like I do like to pass when I play out of the post. And I'm telling you, there's certain things. Well, I don't try not to bring it up because I'm an old man. But I'm saying like this. There is this thing where it's like guys that just know how to not be in the way of when you're trying to make a pass is like so freaking valuable. And JaMychal Green's great at this. And I tried to illustrate this on the list, just like little examples of how he knows to give the best angles for Jokic on it. And trust me, this would be a great thing to ask Jokic in the next practice media availability, which we'll get over the weekend, of just like, what do you think about him and his ability to like read you and what you want? Because I would guess Jokic would rave about that. The other guy we should talk about before we go to our first break is Jamal Murray. Tonight he gets 17 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, just 3 turnovers. He was a +8. 1 of 8 from the three-point line, 4 of 6 from the foul line. Now here's what I'm going to say about Murray. I thought he had a good game, and he looked like he had some energy to him. I don't think the issue is legs. I think it's something else. It might be Malone referenced elbows. It might be elbow. You might have been wrong all along because his game was good. He looked spry. He looked quick. But he missed free throws?
Head,
he missed
shoulders,
three-pointers?
knees, and
I think it might be elbows.
He is shooting 76% from the free throw line on the season
Shooting
right
76%
now.
I'm telling you, man.
from the
That's
free
not
throw
just
line.
focus. That's like something, maybe a little bugging him.
And
I would
that's
have guessed
just
he was
not
been shooting that
Jamal
from
either.
three.
He just does not miss free throws, and
Right.
he's doing it so often. That has to be one of the most consistent things of the year. Like,
Yeah.
he's missing a free throw every game, and this from a player that never misses free throw, who also mentally is just like prepared to never miss free throws.
Still sounds like legs to me. I don't care.
It's ingrained in him. But also, like, back to the point with Jamal, even though he did not shoot the ball well, I think this was Jamal's best game in a really
been,
awkward
yeah.
way.
yeah, because
He,
looked
he
like
made no shots. He made no shots, but he came out with effort. He came out spry. He created space finally that we have not been able to see in a long time, and he's actually getting up and going. We haven't seen really any Jamal Murray highlight plays,
Right.
but we see him actually being aggressive. Again, he led the team in shots. Like, that has to mean something because he's finally starting to get it together. He had this has to be a season high in assists, 6 assists, and also 9 rebounds. Like, he got to the free throw line. He did everything that we said that he was not doing all in one game. Even though the shots wasn't falling, it was one of his better games.
I can't. It's crazy that he listened to our show, coming back from the East Coast. He made all of the changes. It's unbelievable.
He had time.
But I mean, truly, it just looked like he took a nap. Like, he's got a little rest. He came out.
I think he needs more, though, man. I mean, as much as I thought he was great today, like, let's be honest, what makes Jamal Murray a superstar is his ability to score and his ability to get those threes. And, like, 1 of 8 tonight, he had good looks.
Yeah, I mean, this is another thing. This is like trend. We're looking at trends here.
Yeah, that's a great
And
point.
He, like, you see that, you see where he's gone.
Would you
from
call
the
it an
last few-
ascension?
I would call this. No, this is just like a push up.
Okay. That's a
Like,
push-up.
he's been on the ground. He's getting in a plank position. He's like, he's moving towards ascension, but he's like, this is not ascension, really.
Yeah.
Like, he's getting back to where he once was. So, and again, like, merely logging career level stats, which we
And also 37 minutes
no
tonight.
longer good enough for us.
When that bench came in, and we'll talk about the bench after the break, but when that bench came in the fourth and just, like, blew it immediately, and it was like, you know what? They got 2 days off. Let's bring them back in. Bring Murray and Jokic back in and just run them into the ground. Whatever. All right, let's take our first break, guys. On the other side, though, I do want to talk about Bol Bol, who got his 2nd straight career start. It's such a footnote that even when I was watching the post-game show from Tuesday, and I was like, it took you a while, guys, to even bring up Bol Bol, in large part because we'd all forgot about him. Because it was like by the time the game got over, you're like, oh, yeah, he started tonight.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Hartenstein, who had once again only played in the first little bit. So we'll talk about that. But first, let me tell you about Hassel Cattle Company, guys. Brand new partner.
Wagyu.
They send you. Oh, is that what it is?
Wagyu.
It's like Wagyu meat.
Wagyu.
Hassel Cattle Company, guys, is a family-owned farm out of Texas that ships straight to your door. These boxes, like, you can buy packages. You can buy just a bunch of steaks, just a bunch of hamburgers, sausages, bacon, like everything. Beef jerkies. They got different flavors of beef jerky.
Yeah, not bacon, beef bacon.
Beef bacon. Oh, it's like the thick stuff.
Because it's so. I mean, in order for bacon to be bacon, it needs to have the right ratio of fat to.
Is that what it is?
Of course.
Pork versus beef. That's literally the only difference.
Kale.
Oh, wow. Kale is
but you-
arguing with the talent here.
Kale jumps in with dumb points. He doesn't understand what I'm saying. The reason you don't typically have beef bacon is because you don't have the high fat content.
Oh, so they fatten these
You do-
these
well,
guys up.
no, Wagyu cattle in general are
I love- he's
have
really
more.
educating us
It's
here.
all
I
about
can't
the
believe amount that I
marbling.
have.
It's all about the marbling.
Marbling,
Eric has been saying this for
Marbling,
weeks,
by the way,
people.
just is fat. The fat is marbling. And
Well,
so it's the tender marbling, higher fat content. They can make bacon out of it. It seems like a novelty. I can't wait to try it.
It's so funny because I got so much. Like, they
Yeah.
didn't. You think they would give all of the company
You're more of
like
a-
2
you're
steaks?
more of
They
an-
gave me like 30 steaks.
You're more of an influencer.
Super
You're on this.
producer Kale
All I do
also
is
got
I've got so much steak.
Yeah, but
guys.
you're more. But
You laugh about this?
Yeah, but you're
It is
more of an
hilarious.
influencer. All I do is all of the shirts, all the design. I'm on podcast. I'm on the tailgate,
and you know about Wagyu, so they really screwed up.
Who am I going to influence?
Hassel Cattle Company, HASSELL, cattlecompany.com, and when you're up there, use promo code DNVR10, get 10% off. And again, guys, you order it. They have these little packages you can pick from. They ship right to your door. Our other one for today, Green Mountain Dental Group. You guys know this is one of my favorite because I am such a big teeth guy. Real big teeth guy over here. Not everyone is. I'm a big teeth guy.
Are you a teeth guy?
I am a teeth guy. I'm a teeth guy. Like I really believe. I'm a teethman. I really believe in taking care of your teeth. And I also like so.
This is a unique stance for Adam. Adam thinks you should take care of your teeth.
No, it's it. I especially think you should take care of your teeth. That's what it is.
Other people are tepid on this point.
If you ask
Adam
people
is
like
a believer
scale
in
of 1 to 10, how important is dental health? You know, some
me,
people.
I'm like at a 1.
Oh, it's terrible. See, no, I'm a 10.
A 10.
I'm a 10. And once again, we got this nice family-owned dentist right there in Lakewood, Colorado, just 10 minutes from downtown Denver. Green Mountain Dental Group. When you sign up, you get a free Sonicare toothbrush when you get an X-ray and exam, a cleaning X-ray and exam. And best of all, guys, they're family-owned. They send you the postcards. They send you like all the nice stuff. They check on you when you come in. Like, oh, hey, Dev, welcome back in. They don't like, who's this guy? Oh, that's right. We've been cleaning your teeth for 10 years. We don't remember.
Have you raised your dental hygiene from a 1 to a 10 yet?
I'm telling you, you should.
Have you been listening to Adam?
Scolding both of you guys right now for not taking this seriously. But Green Mountain Dental Group, guys, free. Go and get a cleaning X-ray and exam. You get a free Sonicare toothbrush and just start taking care of your dental hygiene. All right, let's get back into this game here, guys. So Bol gets his second start. Let's talk about him because he's just so fascinating. Here's my number one. I'm going to go first on this one. My number one takeaway from Bol last game and this game, he hasn't stood out in the bad ways. And when we watched both the preseason this year and in the like limited, maybe unfairly so limited minutes, like 30-second intervals he's gotten to play, he's looked like, oh man, how could you ever play him? He goes out there with actual starters, and he just looks like look, there was a couple times early on when Jokic is like, you're supposed to cut here. Like, what are you doing? You know, like you could tell he's frustrated, but he hasn't looked like unplayably bad. And I don't know why he's playing, but it's kind of nice to see him. I'm serious about that.
Well, there was actually a quote about it.
What was it?
That Malone specifically does not want to break up the bench unit, which is why he's playing.
Ooh, that's a really interesting. What did you see from him, though? Not just this game, but also if you combine the last two games. But
I mean, you see the like both sides of the bowl and the bowl.
Jesus,
You've got
I see what you did.
Wow.
But on the one side, like he's just such a novelty. Like you just watch him move around out there. I mean, like it's always said, we bring it up on the show.
Get over the bowl and the bowl. I'm sorry. That was really good. I'm all in on this.
Okay. But you see it said of like impact players in the NBA, they just move differently than other players. Like everything is different about Bol than every other human being on the court that is full of tall, unique human beings. Like when he makes a layup, it's like super interesting. Like everything that he jumps and like he has more time in the air, less time at the same time. Like he's just such a strange dichotomy. You just see so much promise in what Bol has just from a physical gifts standpoint. And you just pray that he's going to be able to be given enough of a leash to be able to work through some of this dummy stuff that he does. Like Dev always points out, I mean, he's every time he touches the ball, he's good for at least like 3 travels. Which, I don't know, did he travel tonight? Maybe he did.
No, because he had the one that instead of a travel.
Yeah, it was a turnover.
He dropped the ball, whatever.
Yeah.
He makes some just like serious knucklehead plays, but he also like rejects James Wiseman at the rim, and he also like.
Oh man, that was a great play. Yeah,
that play was amazing because he really could have been on a poster.
Could have.
He got on a poster later,
he could have
wrong
side
on 2 posters.
Yeah, it's true.
From the same guy. I'll just go.
Go for it.
With Bobo, the thing that fans have to really like look at with him is, again, he's playing so many, like he's playing long stints. So like in the first stint, if you watch the game, which you guys I'm sure did because you're watching this after, he fits in with the starters, like you said, Adam. Like he's doing the things that you need. He's rejecting shots. He's altering everything at the rim. He's in the open court and he's doing some amazing dunks and things that you don't see from a lot of people. But then for whatever reason, that second that second half, like, I don't know if it's like the adjustments that other teams make, or maybe there's jitters when he comes out in the second half, but he just doesn't look like the same person. I think is just having to play for so long. He had a very, very short leash tonight. As soon as he made
rightfully so, by the way.
Yeah, I mean,
They lost.
Still a little too long.
They lost that last game in part. I don't want to put it on him, but in my opinion,
and you saw like it was gonna like lead to that. He
Yeah,
had,
it
like,
was
the
definitely going back.
He had the turnovers and the bad passes that
Yeah.
like was close to a turnover, but he got saved on the play. Then he goes and gets dunked on by Wiseman. But he's just coming out of halves, and it's just it's Bowl and then Bowl. It's two different players.
This is gonna stick. We're gonna be saying this all the time now.
Dr. Bowl and Mr. Bowl.
But you were talking about DeJounte Murray. We were watching the game leading into Denver, and how he looks like physically. He looks like he's the freshman that got called up to the varsity, or the JV that got called up. Just looks like, I think Bowl looks that way in the way he carries himself, and especially in that third quarter, because what you were talking about was he made a few bad plays in a row, and you just saw the confidence just like melt from him, where he was almost like, I want out. Like, I don't want to ruin this for everyone.
He's even panicking. He's looking around like, who do I grab? Somebody come in. Come get him. I'm not using he didn't use a timeout, but he's like, somebody come and get him.
But to that point, I think these minutes are more valuable than any other minutes you could give Bull, because earlier we had him on the bench unit. We had him like playing garbage time. You had him in different mix. Getting him out there with four guys who know what they're doing and know what they're doing with each other, so that his role is like, with Michael Porter, some of this is like, hey man, we need you to fit in before you stand out, right? Like, first kind of figure out how to play with us, then we figure out how to play with you. With Bull, I feel like he wants that, because he doesn't want the spotlight on him in a bad way. He's almost just like, what do I do to not screw up? And it's a good mentality to have. And when he has four guys, like, let's be honest, Jokic and 3.5 other guys is a good offense, right? So Bull. So I really, really think these minutes are valuable to him. Him in particular.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, just that. I think that's a great point. Like, not putting him in a position where he has to, or anything is required of him.
Right.
Like, everything that he does is just gravy on top of what the starters are already doing. So.
And this is really easy for Malone to, like, when they're going over film, it's like, do you see what you did here? Do you see what you should have done here? Like, that's really easy.
Yes. Yep.
Like, if you're with your backup units, it's like, okay, you went out there and you just did it. But being with the starters, you know what the right play was and what you should have done. It's easy for him to just go over it. Like, Jokic was telling you to get here for this reason.
Especially playing with Nikola Jokic. Like, if you want to go to the Harvard of court presence, like, you got the teacher there, like, and he'll let you know too.
Also, he held Draymond to 1 point.
I feel like Draymond helped Draymond to 1 point.
Well, tomato, potato. It is funny though, thinking that he went from Kevin Durant to Draymond Green, which Draymond's one of my favorite players. He's just not going to score points on you. Like, that's not what he's going to do. All right, well, let's talk about the bench, because Malone apparently referenced that the reason for Bull starting was not wanting to break up the bench. I think this is a great idea. Malone loves his 5-man lineups more than I personally do, but he has staggered a lot. We've seen Monte Morris and JaMychal Green in particular play with the starters a lot. We'll talk about them as well here in a little bit. But the ability to bring that bench along, I think, has been one of the things that has turned the season around. If you go and look at the bench tonight, you get JaMychal Green, a +12. We talked about him. Isaiah Hartenstein in 7 minutes, a +4. Monte Morris, a +. PJ Dozier, a +. I think that bench is coming along, but I have a question, Dev. Hartenstein, 7 minutes tonight. Only 1 foul. Didn't play again. I'm kind of surprised by that.
Not against the Warriors. Like, they've never been a big team or a team that had guys like out there. Like, what would you do? Throw him on Draymond Green?
They had Looney out there. I mean, but they were murdering Looney in his minutes.
Yeah, if you're already attacking and it's working, why switch it up?
True.
Like, I think that this was a game that they didn't need Hartenstein to go out there and do anything. So it was like, hey, like, this is just your night off. You really aren't going to help us in any way. Like, what could he have done today that would have helped the Nuggets?
Yeah, the Warriors look bad. That team's bad.
That's part of the story too. Definitely part of the story. I mean, you have Steph Curry, who's just like...
Steph Curry is good.
Can I say, man, like, I can't believe people spent time slandering Steph Curry. Like, and honestly, like, this is why... You just look at the world and you're just like, what's going on? Like, the fact that we took time to slander Steph Curry when he couldn't carry this team, by the way, without Draymond.
Right.
When you take Draymond out of that equation, you're like, well, yeah, I mean, Kelly Oubre, who, by the way, tonight was draining threes.
By his standards.
He had 3, right? He had
but
3 of 8.
7.
3 of 8, yeah. So, but anyway, Steph Curry just absolutely absurd. Even though he was a team worst minus 21 tonight, 35 points, 5 of 11 from 3, and it's just like, it's just absolutely insane. But that bench unit, to me, I do think that they have found something there. Monte Morris and JaMychal Green in particular are just starting caliber players.
Yeah.
Let me ask this controversial question. Gary Harris is out.
Uh-oh.
I like Monte Morris and JaMychal Green alongside Murray and Jokic. And Barton. Maybe eventually MPJ.
That was more of a controversial statement, I have to say, than a question.
Was there no question? No, but here comes the question.
Oh, okay.
Do you guys agree with that?
Do you think that's true?
Is that right? Like, no, but seriously, I love Monte Morris next to Jokic. We do Keeping It 1,000 with George Karl. He always talks about a true point guard. That's Monte Morris, man. He runs that pick and roll with Jokic, and he shoots it when he's open. He's floater games on point. And JaMychal Green does all stuff Paul Millsap does, at least at this stage.
Yeah. Well, here's
Adam, though, I do have to kind of call you out. You did kind of low-key take a subtweet at Matt Moore, and he's in the comments right now.
Even though he was a team worse than plus minus, look at him. Look, Matt has not been favorable to Steph Curry, but it wasn't just him. Like we had a whole week where the whole timeline wanted to ask if he was like actually good.
And you can't watch that game tonight and say Steph Curry was the problem. He played well tonight.
I just say my favorite part about anything that we do is like if you say something like about a person and then they're in the comments and immediately
I always assume Matt's watching though. I always know he's watching. Love you, Matt. Locked on Nuggets coming up later tonight with Matt.
Subtweeted.
But I'm serious though. No, I've been thinking about this a lot with the Kyrie Irving thing. We're going to go introspective now because I've been thinking about this because you guys know Kyrie's not my guy. Kyrie's not my guy as a basketball player, as a personality.
Whose guy is Kyrie's?
But I have been thinking about this. Adam Silver a couple of years ago talked about how unhappy all these players are, and he's right. And Kyrie Irving is like number one amongst players that are unhappy. And I like really have, and I was thinking today about like why, and I don't know why. And then I'm like, maybe that's the point. Like, I don't know why. And that's the whole point because part of my job is covering these dudes and I can't figure out exactly why it is that they can't stand the way we cover them or this or that. And so part of this is to take me back to the Steph Curry thing is like, we hate when these players form super teams. We hate all of this stuff. But then we win 2 MVPs and 3 championships and they're like, well, I don't know if they're good. To me, that is like, I'm like, well, yeah, this is why that's like you can't win.
So again, just to summarize, the reason the NBA players hate you guys is Matt Moore. Right?
You guys are gonna you're making like things uncomfortable for me now.
I'm just trying to.
What do you
follow
agree? You say, yeah, I agree. Or you like, what do you say?
Anyway, with Kyrie, I thought the same thing. Like, I just sit here and think some of those things. I'm like, why is he unhappy? I actually have no idea, and that's kind of the point. Is like I actually have no frame of reference for why.
It's because everybody's unhappy because it's like the same reason that a spoiled child is unhappy.
Maybe
Like, when everything is given to you.
I do think it's part of it. I'm not trying to excuse.
No, it's true. If your pain is removed, then things that were formerly pleasurable become painful. Like what it is to be a human being.
Look at Jeff. He's like, oh.
What it is to be a human being. It doesn't matter who you are or what you are. You always are unhappy about something because that is the human condition. So if you remove things that you are normally allowed to assign feelings of displeasure to that are actually displeasurable, then it makes sense. But if you are like Kyrie and all of the negative things in your life have been removed, then you have to be like, Adam Mares is what's wrong, and then you're mad about that.
It's kind of true.
That's what I'm saying.
It's even the Jerry Seinfeld take. It's my favorite one. I've been thinking about it since you gave it.
That's right. Where he was just said the difference between great and not good is like really thin. Like when you're like that's amazing. You're like today was crummy. It's like the days aren't really that different.
I kind of like this one. I kind of like it. Get it back here though. I asked the question, then you guys all laughed and we got sidetracked. But Monte Morris, JaMychal Green. I mean, Gary Harris might be out for a while. We don't know personal reasons. No idea. But I wouldn't mind seeing a lot of minutes with JaMychal Green and Monte Morris filling in those roles.
I mean, it could be because the Nuggets won, but like that was a game that the Nuggets did not miss Gary Harris.
Right.
Like as awkward as it was.
Well, Steph Curry did go for 35 or whatever. But
what would Gary Harris have done? What do you think Curry would have went for if Harris
25, 27.
32,
yeah,
or something like that. But then you have flow. You have flow of the offense with Monte Morris, and Monte Morris is making shots right now. Also, with Monte Morris, JaMychal Green, and Jokic, those are guys that you could play alongside anybody, and you're still going to get the same things from them. They have a flow, and they're all high IQ players. A lot of their game is predicated on IQ. Gary Harris is a defender who knows where to be, but it's not really just all IQ, so it makes a lot different. Plus, he's not making shots.
Well, and the problem with Gary Harris is that we have this is the 12. We have 10 games of data points, and 8 of them have been garbage.
Yeah,
from him.
I know.
He played 2
I know he was
really
on the
good
upswing,
games,
and
then
now
immediately he goes of course, then he immediately goes out. So if Gary Harris had played the most of the season like he had the previous 2 games, it would be let's have Gary in, because he brings the defense, he brings the athleticism, he cuts, he allows Jokic to open up his game. But when Gary Harris isn't making shots, it's can we put somebody in that can do something?
So Jokic is averaging a triple-double, and I do think a lot of it is because he's just better than he's ever been. He's skinnier than he's ever been, all those things. But I think another part of it is this is the most the team has ever relied on him in a good way. Because Jokic isn't a guy that's chucking up shots with us. It's just the most that they've played what we call Jokic ball. It used to be you'd go in and out of it, right? Maybe it was Will Barton, maybe it was Jamal Murray, maybe it's different guys. This is the most it's ever been just no, we're playing through Jokic almost every single time. And I think JaMychal Green is clearly that guy. He just keeps it moving.
You know what it made me think of, though? Are they doing too much with you?
Yeah. And then Campazzo tonight, he did get 12 minutes, and it was, I thought, unremarkable. I don't really have too many Campazzo.
You buried the goddamn lead.
Go for it. Oh, God, the hair.
Shaved the sides of his head.
He has 4 haircuts in one.
He shaved both sides of his head to the skin. Didn't touch any of the rest of his hair. Left a little point in the back. Made us. And
it's exclusively above the sideburns and shaped into a rat tail. I don't understand
if he's growing a rat's tail.
There's a good chance there was a language barrier with the barber when he went. I don't know what he's saying.
His wife cut his hair.
Hey, have you ever heard of Vegeta? He's like, sure. Yeah, do that. Do that. Also, if there's a player, there's a player in the NBA that gets a haircut or has a different hairstyle, D-Line knows about it, and he's going to say something about it.
I don't know if you guys know this. I'm a very visually based person, and the way that I watch the NBA, if a player's hair is moving in such a way that it throws off the entire scene of them, they're out with me. I'm
telling you, it's crazy because you never notice when I get a haircut. You never know.
You know what the worst part is?
Adam, that's because your hair has looked exactly the same.
The worst part is that I do notice.
You know what? I just would like a little.
It's Adam's guys, I'm eating a peanut butter jelly sandwich again, and no one noticed. We noticed, Adam. We saw your haircut.
But back to Campazzo, the worst. This was the first negative plus minus he had of the season, and he really just was just out there today.
Yep.
But also when the bench unit is playing the way that they did, they really they largely outplayed the Warriors bench unit today. So you can't be too upset about his game. There was not things that he needed to do.
Not by upset. Yeah,
plus
for sure.
With Campazzo, he's a 3-point shooter, right? Isn't he a 3-point shooter?
Well, I would say no, except for that I have no evidence other than he is. He literally only shoots 3-pointers.
If you think about an offensive play from Campazzo for the entire year, what is it?
It's him using all of his body force to get a ball
so
up
true.
in the air
shoot it
to
like
make
a middle
it to the rim to shoot a 3-point.
Every
putting a lot into it.
He came into the NBA as a guy that's can't shoot, and he's this incredible passer and defender. But your idea of him is a shooter because he is shooting the ball every time, and he's making a 3 a game.
Yeah. All right, let's go to break. On the other side of the break, though, we do need to talk about Michael Porter might be back. I don't know. I mean, his 10 days, I think, are about up.
Been seeing some IG movement.
I saw some IG movement. He looks healthy. Didn't look like he was bogged down by whatever. Oh, Malone confirmed. It was COVID. We danced around that for so long, but we get to confirm that now. Or report what Malone is reporting.
Yeah, Malone reported it in a post game, and Brendan Vogt listened to it and didn't think it was newsworthy to bring up on the show.
That's pretty funny. But first, I want to tell you guys about DraftKings. Ooh, how'd you do on DraftKings tonight, Eric? Because I cleaned up Jokic triple-doubles, Jokic assist, Will Barton 3-pointers, by the way, and Draymond Green assists. I saw that happening.
I bet 4 bets. I lost 2 of them. I won $5. Let's go!
4-0, baby. 4-0. So head on over to DraftKings, guys. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. If you haven't tried it out, what are you waiting for? Download it. Get your friends to sign up and everything, too. You get bonuses when you get your friends. So you got your wife or girlfriend or roommates or whatever. Sign them up. Get the bonus. Have them pay you the bonus because it's a great bonus.
Yeah.
And this weekend, to celebrate this year's football playoffs. Here, Matt, I'm going to throw you a bone. You guys can bet on the Chiefs. You can bet on the Chiefs. They're going to win. They're always going to win. I just always bet on them.
Every single week.
It's free money. You just bet on the Chiefs. DraftKings has given all new players a chance to bet on any of this weekend's professional football games. I love that they can't say NFL. Professional football games, 100-1 odds. You get 100-1 odds if you want to bet on the Chiefs this weekend. Isn't that ridiculous?
That's what's called a promotion.
That is what's called a promotion.
They want you to win $100 so that you can have a little fun money. You can
Now all you have to do is bet $1 on any team this weekend, and if they win, you cash $100. DraftKings is safe, it's secure, it's reliable. They make it easy for you to deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. This isn't back in the day. This isn't 20 years ago, 10 years ago when it was like, okay, you have to do shady shit. This is legit. It's on your phone. You say, "Ooh, I want to cash out." Boom, cash out. I'm telling
you, I bet for the Broncos to win Super Bowl 50. They won, and then I was unable to get my money. I was like, I couldn't. I was like just angry. And then DraftKings,
now they're here.
You just want it. It just shows back up. It's
super easy. So download the top-rated DraftKings Sports app right now and use promo code DNVR. It's easy to remember. DNVR. When you sign up, you get that 100-1 odds on any football game this weekend. That's code DNVR. Limited time only. DraftKings Sportsbook must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, remember this is for fun. But if it's not fun for you, if you have a gambling problem, 1-800-522-4700. And then Chevalier Mortgage. Chevalier Mortgage. I'm telling you guys, if you have never bought a house before, or maybe you've bought several of them, you're looking to refinance. I don't know if you heard, it's like one of the best times in history to refinance. You want to go to Chevalier Mortgage. Call Virginia directly, 303-257-6578. It's Virginia and Mike. Fantastic. Been in the business for years, guys, and they can get you set up with anything. I always tell people it's intimidating if you've never done a mortgage before.
It is.
But you want to get somebody that you know, and why not go to DNVRmortgage.com. This is how easy it is. DNVRmortgage.com and talk to somebody that at least you know you have something in common with. Denver Sports, DNVR, boom. Already hit it off your friends. These people are going to take care of you.
Do we have a promo code for 20% off your house?
We don't have that's not
ready for that one.
Yeah, it's funny because you started promo code. I'm like, oh god, I don't think there is a promo code. But you want to check them out, guys. NMLS number 1931006 for Michael Chevalier, and then Virginia NMLS number 1910631. Let me know when we have. Oh, it looks like we have votes standing by.
Vote is here, yeah.
Vote sitting by.
Why don't we welcome in Brendan Vogt?
Oh, there he is.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, fellas, can you hear me today?
Yeah, we always have to wait. In fact, all right, there it is.
Hey, guys.
There it is.
That was a rare audio. That was a terrifying audio issue. Might have been on my end. How we doing tonight, guys? Nice to be here.
We're doing good, man. How are you?
Fuego post-game session tonight, guys. Just trying to collect my thoughts here, man. Don't know where to start, but some heartwarming, great vibe stuff from Jokic and JaMychal Green. If you're a Nuggets fan, you're looking to bask in this victory. They gave you the good stuff tonight.
Let me get a tweet out. Where do you want to start? I kind of want to just clear out and let you cook here.
All right. Well, let's do housekeeping first. All right. We'll
okay.
Malone loved the bench. Said, "quote We needed this." He thought the third quarter defense was great. Shouted out Jamal for staying aggressive, even though the shot wasn't falling. He said he's been on him about that. They've talked about that personally a lot. He wants him to stay engaged, and he thought he did tonight. He confirmed that he is starting Bull to, quote, keep the bench unit together, end quote, as many were suspicious of. And then he also talked about how little time that second units had to play together this season, and then went on to reveal that he actually had to cancel shoot-around this morning due to COVID protocols, which is the obvious update from that statement. But, in the context of his answer was just one example of a broader point. He's really hammering home that he's got a new group, and they're not getting a lot of practice time.
To your point about that, one thing I've heard, and not just from the Nuggets, I've actually heard this around the league, that they're doing all this testing. And testing is not perfect, but it's pretty good. But when you do so many tests, you do get false positives or inconclusives. But unfortunately, if you get those, it throws. I mean, you have to treat it like a positive. So maybe that's what he's referring. I don't know if he clarified, but it sounds like that might have been what they were referring to. And then it's just like, well, crap, we can't shoot around today because we have to do another test.
Yeah, to be clear, he said COVID protocols, not a COVID outbreak or anything like that. But yeah, he didn't really clarify the situation. Again, he was sort of using it to make a broader point.
Right.
But it's a salient one. And if you're looking for explanations for Denver's slow start, that's a legit one. I mean, look, No excuses. That's how a lot of people feel. I feel like that's coach talk. That's locker room talk. As an analyst, this team hasn't been whole. They haven't had a lot of time to play together, and that's mattered.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into the goods here. I want to hear. So is it Jokic or JaMychal Green that you want to start with?
Well, we got to start with Jokic because it works 1-2. Before the JaMychal Green stuff, how about some Mike Miller goodness?
Oh,
Jokic quote. Jokic was asked about his hands and all the steals he's racking up. He said, Mike Miller always said I'm a cookie monster, and I'm going to steal that from him. Maybe I am not that good defensively, but I am a cookie monster. Glorious stuff. I hope
wow, it's so deep. Already. Like, we need to make a book of Jokic, like, philosophy, the Tao of Jokic or something, you know?
It's just so good. I mean, I think every time Jokic gets a joke in, anytime he gets to feel himself, and anytime you get a Mike Miller reference, like, that's the holy trifecta right there. A1 quote. But let's move on because it wasn't his best quote of the night. How about this when Mike Singer asked him about playing with JaMychal Green? Quote, JaMychal is a guy I want to play with for the rest of my life. Can
we say something? A little Jokic whisper over here. A little Jokic whisper. Didn't I say that we should have asked him about this very thing and he was going to say that he loves playing with them? I can't believe I went to swing for a base hit. I hit like a grand slam here. That's an incredible quote.
Incredible.
He's a Jokic player, man.
Part of a larger, sort of answer that I am going to have to go back and listen to the audio, but the general tone was, and I think I heard him say, I don't get on him when he makes mistakes because he just does all the little stuff, like he loves the way he plays. He said all credit to him, and then he wants to play with him for the rest of his life. Just incredible stuff so shortly into a season that isn't even really going well. So there's your first dose of like just great vibes this year.
So he played JaMychal Green with Marc Gasol, who, defensively is better than Jokic, but I think offensively is like Jokic light. Like he's the light version of him. And I wonder, I do wonder if there's just a little bit of a like, I know how to play with this a little bit. Now here I am. I played on the JV, and now I'm here on the varsity with this, and it's like, all right, it's a little bit even better. So I love that, man. I wish that we could go back now and ask JaMychal Green about playing with Jokic. Now he said,
well, Adam, you
hey.
did. Because Jamal Murray did not make it to his post-game availability. JaMychal Green filled in, and that was fine with us after that quote. So Mike Singer immediately follows up, of course, and asks him, how do you think you've earned that praise so quickly from Jokic? And first of all, there was a very, very cool smile when he was told what Jokic, just a very nice little slow head nod. He was feeling it. But he said it's just his style of play. He said he's an IQ kind of guy, and he said, I know my role. And that's just the kind of stuff Jokic loves, as we all know. He's in the right place at the right time, and that's just the way JaMychal Green's approached his basketball career. Paul Millsap-esque in that way, in my opinion.
Man, I'm full of Phil. I'm going to have a great weekend, guys.
Yeah. Jokic, you're like, Jokic, how do you feel about playing with MPJ? He's like, I want to play with him until the end of his life, which would be the end of the season.
Jokic actually has a lot of quotes talking about how he likes playing with MPJ too, because MPJ actually does do some of that stuff, the offensive rebounding, the cutting. Right. That's Jokic's dream sort of teammate, right? Is someone who does those things. MPJ's still figuring it out. Green's made a career out of it. And look, I mean, remember last season, it was the underrated pickup of the year, right? Grabbing Jeremy Grant, the way he's fitting in Denver, the way he's fitting with Jokic. Well, that actually took to the playoffs, in my opinion, for Grant to figure it out. Green's figured it out in about 3 weeks, a month here.
Man, the vibes are great. I think this stuff matters, man. Like, a team gets more out of everybody when like they all are sort of bought into the same thing. And I do feel like JaMychal Green, this isn't like he's building chemistry with Jokic. Like, I think that's still even to come a little bit. I just think it's like he wants the right thing. And so you're starting from this baseline of way the hell up here that, the vibes are immaculate.
I was going to say, man, if not for the fireball shot we took earlier, which making my stomach burn here a little bit, I would say I'm in about the best place I can be.
Shouts to Peter, who showed up at the bar from Iowa today and bought us a round of
This is
fireball.
becoming a very pleasing trend. We have members coming in, much like you yourself, these commenters, coming in and seeing us in person, coming up, taking shots with us. We're forcing them to drink Rakia. It's a great little thing we got going. Except for now my belly hurts.
Yeah, my belly hurts a little bit too. I haven't had the fireball.
Guys, I want to land this plane with a couple more JaMychal Green quotes. He was asked about it was a rotation question. Can't get the specifics off the top of my head right now, but essentially what it's like playing with different guys. No hesitation. He said, "I just want to win." Doesn't matter who he's out there with. Doesn't care about any of that stuff. JaMychal Green just wants to win. Feels like he can do it in Denver. And the last quote of his availability, the last thing he said was, I think we're getting it together. I think we're getting it on the right track. No, I don't think. I know we're getting it on the right track.
Man, this is Tasty winner. I like JaMychal Green. Right? You know what?
Sign him for life.
Mr. Nugget. He'll have years to get Mr. Nugget. It's true. Can you imagine if we get a little, actually, we talk about the Marc Gasol. You know, one of the best parts about the grit and grind Grizzlies? It was the duo, man. Gasol and Zebo. They just like, you know what I mean? It was like the ultimate duo of two guys that are pretty. We might, maybe if we get a little JaMychal, Jokic.
Like a full team of misters. Like
It's so true. There's nothing but Mr. Nuggets. Oh, I can't wait. Man, that's a really good media availability. I'm so glad we get to.
It's probably because Wind wasn't there. Am I right?
Yeah.
I know, right? No coincidence.
Man, that's fantastic. Is there anything else to report on from the media availability?
No, that's all I got, Adam. Hope that's enough for you.
Well, hang with us for
just two of the best quotes of the year. You want to make something up, or?
No, it was very good, Brendan. It was very good. Very good job.
How many Mr. Nugget can we legally have? I think Brendan needs to be here for that.
Legally,
how many Mr. Nugget? I think the limit's 3.
No, the limit does not exist. The limit is, dude. Every nugget is available to ascend to the Mr. status.
It's true, man.
It's on them.
If you somehow had 17 Mr. Nugget, like you're really 17 Mr. Nugget, you're gonna have like your 73-win season.
Every nugget is good in the preseason too. Every nugget is Mr. in the playoffs.
I love it. All right, so now the big question vote, and we'll kind of get your perspective first, and then we'll let you go here. But Michael Porter, I don't know if he's going to be available for Sunday or not. But if it's not Sunday, it's Tuesday. It's now on the horizon. The Nuggets are 6-6, back to square one.
Dude, the nonstop quest for 500 is going to be the season.
But I mean, that is the real question. So JaMychal Green says he knows that the Nuggets are now on track. Well, let's get off track again here. Let's try to put another train link on this train here. Do you think
it's a train link? Don't.
It's a train link. That's what it's called. Do you think just what does this challenge look like? Should he return?
Well, there's ripple effects, right? Starting unit looks great with Will Barton in there. Whether Barton looks great or not, the numbers back that up.
It's so wild. Like Gary Harris and Will Barton can both look bad, and the Nuggets can have the best offense. It's like it doesn't make sense.
That's the floor. That's the floor. Things are going terribly. Historically great offense, but. Yeah. So then there's also trickle-down effect on the bench, right? Then what, does Barton go back to the bench? That 5-man unit, when they're playing together or staggered with starters, seems to have figured it out. I think we all love the idea of Barton as a scorer with the bench, but there seems to be a sort of healthy half-court ecosystem right now at the bench. Barton kind of looked to be scoring a lot, in my opinion, when he's with that group. So, yeah, there's questions that this raises. There's stuff to figure out. But, hey, I feel like our feet are underneath us again. The Nuggets' feet are underneath them. And we're back to those initial questions of, hey, we're pretty sure the bench is good. Jokic is an MVP. So what's the question? What does it look like with MPJ? And there are plenty of questions to answer, but that's exciting. That's what we wanted to find out at the start of the season.
And we don't know about Gary Harris and what's going on. I hope, whatever it is, I hope is okay. But if he is out for longer, should he be out, then maybe you get Will Barton starting and Michael Porter. I mean, let's be honest tonight. We're worried about the starting lineup. Does it throw things off? Guess who started tonight and last game? Yep. Bol. Like, okay,
I know. We're like, was MPJ going to throw off the balance?
And then it's like
Bol into the mix.
When they add that guy that scores 30 and 10 without dribbling, it could get tough.
It could get tough. Well, Brendan, I can't wait. Back on Sunday. I can't wait for it. Harrison Wind also hopefully back, and then at the arena. So we're going to full squad. The Nuggets are getting a full squad. We're getting a full squad. I can't wait.
Watch out, League.
Watch out, League.
The vibes are great, baby. The vibes are immaculate. Have a good night, fellas.
Later, buddy.
Conk.
So, Dev, I want to ask you about that same question, though. Michael Porter may be back on Sunday. We don't know. Are you nervous about it? What do you expect from it?
First off, you just brought up a fact that I really didn't think about with Gary Harris being out. You could have them both be there, and then you still get the bench unit. It might be like the most perfect thing that's happened for them. Because then you could say, Barton, you're not playing well anymore, or Michael, we're going to have to bring you off the bench until you get acclimated. Like, you got to get back into like your rhythm and things of that nature. So I think that would be perfect. But also, now the bench has their confidence under them. They're finding a rhythm. They're knowing how to play with each other. And I think that was the issue rather than, hey, Michael Porter Jr. or Will Barton's in it. Regardless, whoever goes to the bench is going to be more aggressive as a scorer. Right now we're not seeing aggressive Barton, and it's paying dividends. But if you put Michael Porter Jr. on any unit, he's going to get his shots up because that's what he's best at. So I think that adding a player who's amazing is not gonna throw off anything. Like he's an amazing scorer. At least it's not gonna throw anything off just because I think that they are starting to get to play well with each other.
I always say this, man. Basketball is not about the talent; it's about they're all ingredients. So a little bit, this is like you're baking a great cake. Here's some delicious pepperoni. You're like, hey, I don't want any pepperoni. I'm making a cake over here. I don't care how delicious that pepperoni is.
Although the obvious counter to that is the pepperoni cake pizza that's being made in Brooklyn that's probably going to win the championship.
That's true. That is actually the weirdest cake, and it works. No, I say all this to say I have been on I thought Michael Porter was going to come off the bench when he got back and ease himself back into the starting lineup. Hearing Malone talk about this is why he's starting Bol and want to keep him together, I actually maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not. And should Gary Harris be out for another game, in some ways it almost feels this sounds weird to say. I might be less nervous about a Nuggets team that is missing one of Barton, Murray, or Harris when Michael Porter returns than a team that has all of them. Because if one of those guys is missing, you easily just say, okay, boom. Michael Porter and the starters, bench stays the same, we're good. Is that crazy talk?
No. It's not at all. Just in general, like the chaos that was the Denver Nuggets to start this season, where nothing made sense, everything was a problem. Like we've kind of moved past that to where, we're like the chemistry of this team is no longer like so tenuous where we're really nervous about like the one guy here versus moving him here and there. Like now we're at a place where each unit that's on the court has an identity. Like people have like sort of figured out what it is they're supposed to do in relation to the other players that are on the court. Michael Porter Jr. is just a transcendent player. Like putting somebody in that can score 30 points pretty effortlessly is it's hard to imagine how that's going to be a bad thing. Especially when you see Jokic sort of coming into his own on the defensive end, like causing havoc in the passing lanes. Obviously rim protection is still an issue, but bringing Michael Porter Jr. in before just sort of made you nervous about what the defensive repercussions were going to be. But I don't feel like that's necessarily the case anymore. It's like you don't have to be like, we need to have Gary in there, even if he's not making shots because of the defense. Like you feel like Gary moves out, Michael Porter moves in. Like it doesn't feel as scary as it did in the first couple of games when literally just everything felt scary.
Can we finish with some hot takes right here for a moment?
Oh boy.
Nuggets are 6-6. Hasn't been the best. We're going to wrap up with this, Kale. But this is, awesome. Look at that. You even had it ready to go. Super producer Kale right there, everybody. Little hot box and hot takes to end it for us here. Here are the things that have not gone well for the Nuggets so far this season. Jamal Murray looks hampered.
Yep.
Will Barton looks hampered. Gary Harris was literally the worst shooter in the NBA until like 4 days ago.
That's not true. Kelly Oubre was.
Well, no, he was worse. Then Kelly Oubre had that game where he made like 5 of 6, and he leapfrogged Gary, and then Gary leapfrogged some people too. But nonetheless, the point remains: the Nuggets have not actually had great. Jokic has been incredible, but he's going to continue to be incredible, right?
He's the best.
Yeah, but the bench unit took a while to figure out. All these things have gone not great. In Denver, here they are 6-6 and starting to look right. Michael Porter, if I told you on a scale of 1 to 100, where is he at in the integration process with that starting lineup? He's at like a 12. Like there's a lot for him to gain there. There's so many of those things that you look at and go, they can start to break. Oh, and then you look at the numbers. Remember, through like 6 games, teams were shooting like 50% or something from 3 against them. Like they just were on fire. And some of that may be the defense, but not all of it.
No.
So
dude, it was the confusion. The Nuggets were just confused all the time.
Yeah. So if I hotbox and hot take it a little bit, this Nuggets team very much could, within a couple weeks. I mean, the Michael Porter thing is a huge variable. It's like a real tough solve for X right here. It's a huge variable.
Make this hot now. Make this hot, dude. Make it hot.
I'm saying if it comes together, like there's reason to believe.
Heat it up.
There's reason to believe this team can be what we thought they were coming into the season, where every Nuggets player is good.
Everybody's good.
Everybody's good. No?
That was
getting hyped? I thought we were just going to be everybody was just going to like get up and be like, go for it.
How is your hot take that what we said before it was right?
Well, because what happened since then hasn't been so good.
I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate.
Do we have the graphic?
I don't even know if we have
the graphic?
devil's advocate up there. Devil's advocate. Spicy.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
All right.
And the spicy thing I say is, you said that it's like the bench is taking a while to figure out and it's starting to figure itself out and things of that nature. But my question to you guys is, has it actually figured itself out, or has Malone been basically given what he's gonna take? Like when you go into the playoffs, you go in with an 8-man rotation.
Yeah.
Right now they have an 8-man rotation.
It's true.
So it's easy for you to go in with this idea. He's putting the players that he has to put out there, but you add a new player to the mix who is definitely in the 8-man rotation. But now you have to make the decision to take someone out of the 8-man rotation.
AJ Dozier.
So now you have to have 9 guys, and that's when the issues come, because Malone has to make decisions, and that's when the issues arise.
I think that Jamal Murray, Gary Harris obviously out, Will Barton, those guys are like in line for rest. So I'm not worried about having too many guys in the short run. In the long run, you're right. But I do feel
There's a 10-man rotation or 9-man rotation when Gary and
it's a long season, though. It's a long season. There's going to be
I'm just saying, this season's been tough because we haven't seen the Nuggets just like start to steamroll teams yet. Like we haven't seen them like really get a groove going. But I do feel like it is, to JaMychal Green's point.
Baby.
I can't go to JaMychal Green's point because I only think that they're getting close. He knows, but I think.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
And you can take this to the bank. You can take this to DraftKings. You can take this to wherever you want. Wherever they will accept hot takes as currency. The Nuggets are back.
All right.
They are back. Listen. Last season, I don't know if you guys caught it. The Nuggets made the Western Conference Finals.
I remember that.
They played a very historic route through the bubble. And we're back, baby. The Nuggets are back. Jamal Murray is getting back. Everybody's back. The Nuggets are back. I'll read not one more negative comment in these comments ever again. The Nuggets are back.
Thanks so much for tuning in with us, guys, all week. It's been a fun week of shows. We get a weekend off, guys. I'm ready for it. We haven't had this weekend off in a bit, so I'm excited. We're going to take it off. Hopefully you take it off too. And you meet us right back here on Sunday. They got the Utah Jazz. You guys remember them from the playoffs last year? They got that Gobert guy. Gobert.
Never heard of him.
Never. Yeah, he's all right.
Gobert.
He's really good at screening, I'm told. So we'll get to watch him.
The GoBots of NBA centers.
We'll get to watch that game together, guys, on Sunday. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see everybody next time. Adios.